David Morgan was known for his fearless spirit and relentless curiosity. An urban explorer by passion, he thrived on the thrill of venturing into the unknown, especially places marked by dark histories and ghostly rumors. His social media was a catalog of eerie locations he had conquered: abandoned factories, derelict mansions, forgotten cemeteries. To David, fear was just another challenge to overcome. One evening, after sharing drinks at the local pub, David's best friend, Mark, pulled him aside and said, "There's one place you shouldn't go, David. The old Briarwood Asylum. People have gone in and never come out. It's not worth it." David smirked, brushing off Mark's concern, and said, "Come on, Mark. It's just another ghost story. I've heard them all. I'll be fine." Mark's face remained stern. He told David that this isn't like the other places. "There's something wrong there. Promise me you won't go." David chuckled, clapping Mark on the shoulder, and told him that he worried too much and said, "I'll see you tomorrow." With a sense of invincibility, David set out for Briarwood Asylum, the thrill of the challenge pushing him forward. The building loomed in the distance, its silhouette dark and foreboding against the night sky. As he approached, the temperature seemed to drop, and a thick fog rolled in, wrapping the asylum in an almost tangible sense of dread. He clicked on his flashlight, its beam slicing through the darkness, revealing a decrepit lobby with peeling wallpaper and broken furniture. The walls were covered in graffiti, some of it recent, but others looked ancient, cryptic symbols that made his skin crawl. As he ventured deeper, the strange noises began. Whispers that seemed to come from nowhere, the scurrying of unseen creatures, and the occasional distant scream. His heart raced, but he pressed on, determined to conquer the haunted asylum. He documented his journey with his camera, narrating his steps for his followers, though his voice shook slightly. David's path led him to the basement, drawn by an inexplicable pull. The basement was dark. As he scanned the space, his light fell upon a figure slumped in the corner. Heart-pounding, he approached cautiously. The figure's clothes were tattered, and its face obscured by shadows. David's breath caught in his throat as he recognized the jacket the figure wore. His jacket. His flashlight flickered again, and when it steadied, he saw his own lifeless eyes staring back at him from the corpse in the corner. Panic surged through him, his mind refusing to accept what he was seeing. He stumbled back, tripping over debris, and fell hard to the ground. His flashlight rolled away, plunging him into darkness. From the shadows, he heard a familiar voice, soft and mocking. "I told you not to come here, David." "Mark?" David's voice trembled. "Too late now," the voice replied. "You've seen your fate." He ran through the twisting corridors, his own screams echoing in his ears. But no matter how fast he moved, the pain in his stomach grew worse. Finally, he burst through a door and collapsed on the cold ground outside. He looked down to find blood spreading across his shirt, just like the figure he had seen. The last thing he saw before his vision faded was the asylum's grim silhouette against the night sky. Then he opened his eyes and found himself lying on the ground, shivering and confused. There was no blood, no wound. He was alive. Relief washed over him as he stood up, shaky but unhurt. He bolted from the asylum, ran through the dark streets, and finally reached his home. Breathless and trembling, he collapsed onto his couch, laughing nervously. "Just a nightmare," he told himself. It was all just a nightmare. The next morning, David awoke and his TV was switched on somehow. The local news anchor's voice filled the room. In breaking news, the body of a young man was found in the old, abandoned Briarwood Asylum late last night. Authorities have identified the victim as David Morgan. His eyes were mutilated, and he had been stabbed in the stomach.
Subscribe for more content.